Yes, sir.
It's getting so close now to the release of Amazing Spider-Man. It's time to start getting really excited. And the best way that I've ever found to do that is by buying a bunch of stuff that has the movie plastered all over it.
We've gotten the breakfast cereal, the Pop-Tarts, fruit, gummy snacks, you name it.
Mini Mates, which you can find a review for right here. But yes, we're eating this popcorn in anticipation of this film, and there's no better way to celebrate than with the incredible, spoiler alert, I went ahead and said it, it's incredible, the new Marvel Select Lizard figure from the Amazing Spider-Man. General thoughts, Brandon? Guess we've seen this thing a long time ago, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I think the first image was that weird blacked out picture of him together with Spider-Man, where he didn't see any of him. But
you couldn't see him.
Like I said before, when I first saw this this design for the lizard, I thought, geez, I don't like where this is going. I mean, it was obvious what they were doing was a Silver Age lizard, a '60s lizard,
right?
And with a modern take on it. But I just, I didn't think it worked.
I wanted pants and a trench coat, like a lab coat, awfully bad.
Exactly. But seeing this figure just makes me really love this design.
So, without further ado, I'm going to have a little bit more popcorn. Oh yeah, and we're also going to be taking a closer look at the lizard. It's so good.
And here we have an in-depth look at the lizard. Let's kick things off, start talking about his sculpt.
As you can see, the sculpt is extremely meticulous. I'm not really sure if this is from a digital source or not, but it looks like it probably should be, or was. As we can see, there's all this incredible work on the chest, including all this wonderful texture work, and the skin kind of coming into flaps there, as we've seen in a lot of the pictures from the film. The legs all have this beautiful texture to them as well, and it's very intricate. I can see everything, even down to the toenails, is very carefully sculpted. The backs of the heels kind of arching up like this. It's really nice. The muscle tone is very impressive. The hands are super nice. And that's the word for this figure. Extremely nice all the way through. Now, a better look at the head here. As you can see, the head is extremely menacing. You may not agree with the look of the film. We're not even sure we do yet or not. We've, of course, not seen the film. But one cannot argue that it's extremely accurate to the movie. You can even see a little bit of Rhys Ifans in there as well, the man who will be playing the lizard. Just a beautiful sculpt. As you can see, even the teeth are very intricately sculpted. And the tongue inside, side of the face, there's all this definition. And the back of the head and the top of the head, very nice. And the same back here. Of course, on the back, we have even more intricate sculpting to speak of. All these kinds of warts and bumps on the skin. All this muscle definition. The tail is also extremely impressive. As we can see, it kind of sculpts off into this point. And we can go up and down with it. And, boy, there's just so much sculpting here. It's really hard to cover everything. The shoulder is extremely textured. It's just one of the most impressive sculpted figures I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, every bit of it is just sculpted with some sort of texture or surface. There's no dead area anywhere on the figure except at the interior and some of the joints.
Overall, just superbly sculpted. The same quality that a statue. Probably much better than a lot of lizard statues that we'll be getting from some of the specialty companies.
He's got a great amount of articulation and a great range of motion. He's got a ball-jointed neck. And he can look down a little bit, but he can look up quite a bit, so he can, look up into the sky fairly well. He's got joints at the shoulders and cuts, and single jointed elbow and a cut there as well, and a cut and a hinge at the wrist. He's got a very good ab crunch. He can go side to side very well, front a little bit and back quite a bit. He doesn't have ball joints, but he has hinges. You don't really lose any movement, though. Honestly, you can get him into just about any pose you want. And I think for a sort of a biological creature, I just don't think ball joints would work very well. It would really disrupt the look going from the hips to the legs. So I think that was the best move they could have made. He's got a single jointed knees, but there's a cut above the kneecap. And then he's got a joint at the ankle and rocker ankles. So you can twist his feet about. Well, I guess you can get them completely around. And then additionally, the tail has both a cut and a joint.
The paint is another area in this figure where Diamond Select has absolutely excelled. As we can see, the paint is extremely varied throughout the entire figure with a complex combination of washes and special apps. Wow, where to begin? We'll just start here at the chest. As you can see, there's all this very intricate shading involved in the muscles, especially around the flaps of skin up here. There's a very soft and natural transition from this kind of fleshy color to the arm to the green here. It's almost unnoticeable, the transition. It's very nice and very hard to line up with the mass-produced figure. Now, on the sides, there's these very subtle stripes, or maybe not so subtle, depends on how the camera's picking up. And of course, on the back, these stripes carry over on the tail. These stripes are even subtly present on the leg, if you can see them there. It's little details like that that really make this figure. Each of the nails are very nicely painted with not very much slop at all. And of course, the nails down here are very nicely painted. And once again, we see this fade out I was talking about earlier, from this kind of fleshy, light brown, sandy tone to the green, and that combined with the really strong sculpting on the leg makes these some of the nicest sculpted legs I've ever seen on anything, and painted as well. And of course, up here at the head, we have its own story to tell in terms of paint. There's just beautiful flow here. Once again, I talked about that sandy color. As you can see, it is a perfect transition from this sandy color to the green, all the way at the top of the head. Of course, just like in the stills we've seen in the film, it kind of dissipates around here into the darker green here. And of course, there's stripes on the head that I forgot to mention a minute ago. On the back itself, we have some of this darker green here. And the same is true for this back part of the leg. Another thing worth pointing out is the teeth and mouth are completely painted. As you can see, extremely impressive.
There was one QC issue that we had with the figure, and it's one that's you're just going to have to look out for. It's nothing you can see in the package either. That the interior parts of the joints at the shoulders and at the hips are painted, and so it won't take very long moving them in and out to start scraping off the paint. You can even see, if you look closely, where it's kind of gumming up there at the end of the joint at the shoulder. It's not something you're going to see in a lot of poses, and if he's standing in a neutral pose, you can't see it at all. It's better to have painted joints than unpainted joints because it really breaks up the look, but it's unavoidable, the amount of friction you're going to have with the arms moving up and down. Or maybe he just has terrible BO. I mean, this is just like rough skin drying up in his armpits. I don't know. Even though it wasn't much of an issue for us, it is going to be worth noting the way that the feet are sculpted. He's standing up on his tiptoes and the arch of the foot is up in the air. He can have trouble standing. It will take you a minute to get the balance right. But of course, remember that the tail is there, and there are going to be a lot of poses where you will need the tail to help keep him standing.
Here he is with the old, now classic Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man from Toy Biz. As you can see, the lizard is gigantic compared to him. They still look neat together, and they share kind of that similar Spider-Man movie aesthetic, so it's neat to think what would have happened if he had gotten to fight the Dylan Baker lizard. And here the lizard is with the Diamond Select Amazing Spider-Man figure from the same series. And as you can see, the lizard looks completely gigantic next to him. Now you may be thinking, like the others, that that means that they are way out of scale with each other. Well, not exactly. I think it'll be a lot more clear when we all get to see the film, but like we talked about in our Spider-Man review, the lizard is actually huge in the new movie. I thought he was only going to be probably about 6 or 7 feet tall initially, but no, the lizard seems to be about 9 feet tall, maybe 10 feet tall in the movie.
Yeah, the funny thing is, if anything, it may be just a hair too small.
There's some shots in the trailers, if y'all don't believe us, where the lizard is, say, he's jumping Spider-Man and they're going into the ocean. And also a shot where Spider-Man kicks the lizard and he's standing on a tower and he looks more like King Kong standing on a tower. So, I mean, he's really supposed to be this much larger than Spider-Man. So, bravo, Diamond, for giving us a truly in-scale lizard. Alright, guys, so that was our closer look at the lizard. And to wrap things up, I would say that, wow, what a figure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can get at your comic book shop right now. A lot of things you can get in the toy aisle at Walmart. I mean, none of them really compare to the kind of goodness you're going to get with this figure.
Yeah.
If you're anything like us, when you buy something, especially over $20, you want it to be something you really feel the value in. You want it to be heavy. You want it to be big. You want it to be accurate. And this figure has everything. Every one of those attributes that you can imagine. I mean, it's big. It's accurate. It's high quality. It's fun. It makes this incredible display piece. I mean, this is... I can't imagine getting any more out of $22 for a figure, which is what I paid at my comic shop.
Phenomenal is the word for it. It's like a little movable statue. It's a high-end collectible that is simultaneously an extremely enjoyable and playable action figure. It's a very rare and delicate blend. It just doesn't happen a whole lot, and it's thrilled to get one. At every 100 times.
It's one of these things where all I can say is the other figure companies or Hasbro or whoever, because they are doing their 6-inch version. Your move. I wish you luck, but it's about the same thing as the Hulk that Marvel Select did, which hopefully we'll have a review up pretty soon. I know it's way past time, but maybe there's some of you all who would be interested in our opinion. It's about the same thing. You can't really have a mass market company compete with this sort of level of specialization and size and accuracy. I mean,
and paint. Just it's got so many applications. It's ridiculous.
This is one of those figures that comes so close to like a computer-generated actual character model from the film in terms of detail and colorization that you just can't get any closer than this. It's I know the Hulk was sculpted from a digital source. I have no idea about the Lizard, but just looking at him, I would think maybe because he's so accurate.
It looks so close.
It's really amazing. And like we talked about earlier, the size. How we learned that upon closer inspection in the trailers and pictures, you can see that the Lizard really is so either going to fluctuate in size greatly throughout the film, or he's really just this gigantic for the whole thing.
Monstrous.
So the scale is completely accurate, and even without a single accessory, not even a base stand, this thing is worth its weight in gold or high quality silver. I also will say that there is that new 6-inch Lizard coming down the pipeline from Hasbro. We've seen some pictures of it, and it looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
But here's the thing. If you get this, and you feel like you only have enough money or enough room in your collection for one, you are not going to need the other one. No. I don't foresee you ever needing another movie Lizard.
Save for the possibility that, as we mentioned, the Lizard may fluctuate in size, so it may be good to have one that's about 6-7 inches, and then one that's, say, 9 inches tall.
The only one that it won't be any good for anybody to have is that 3 3/4 Lizard figure.
About the literal size of a lizard compared to a human. He's a kimono dragon standing up on his hind legs.
Yeah, I mean he's just tiny and way smaller than the other 3 3/4 figures. So take advantage of this while it's around.
I mean, it's crazy to think, but when we're going to come to a time when a 6-inch figure retail is going to be $22, and a specialty figure like this will be in $35-$40 easy.
I mean, so this is the time to act, people. If you see this out in the store, just get it.
Yeah.
I know that we're not all completely happy with the Lizard design. I'm not either. But at the same time, when you see a figure like this, and it's so well detailed, so well sculpted, so nicely painted, you're just going to say, I didn't even know I liked the design as much until I saw this, and then I was convinced.
Well, seeing something rendered so well and tangible 3D is always going to be so much better than a computer-generated model in a movie.
To see it, as something that's just there, like a statue or a sculpture or something, it just makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
I guess what we're trying to say is this is easily a 4.5 out of 5-star figure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, easily.
Just lacks a little something being a perfect figure, honestly. It's that good.
And, just very minute little things we mentioned. I mean, other than that, it's completely perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, this figure, you can't go wrong. I want to say it's 4.75 out of 5. Really, that's more
We don't want to jumble up the ratings like that, but I think
I mean, here it's really appropriate here.
It's just
this is
that close. Missed it by that much.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you can't go wrong here. I give this wholeheartedly, even if it's not perfect, I give it my highest recommendation that I possibly can give you.
An absolute must-buy. I mean, there's no question about it.
If you consider yourself a fan of Spider-Man or even old Marvel Legends, or you feel like you're missing that old action figure vibe that Toy Biz had on all those high quality products. This is it. This is the glory days right here. Come back home. That's all I can say, and buy this thing. You're gonna love it. Even if you don't get Spider-Man, this thing will be such an incredible piece on its own. I mean, it's worth it.
Yes,
100%. So until next time, guys. Thank you. Please subscribe. We got all kinds of different video reviews from all kinds of different companies. We got NECA figures. We got Mattel figures. We got Hasbro figures. Diamond Select. This is what we're covering a lot of right now. We got Mini-Mates.
We've got even more amazing Spider-Man stuff coming down the pipeline.
So stick with us, guys. And we also have custom showcases, which are our new video format that we're going to have up really soon, where we've completed some pretty cool customs that you guys may be interested in. So until next time, this has been Jared.
And this is Brandon.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Fanboys Forever. Signing
out.